We just told you about the arrest of 17 members of Congress at an abortion rights protest. And among those arrested was Congresswoman Sara Jacobs of California, who joins us now. First of all, thank you so much for joining today.
Of course, great to be here with you.
So, Congresswoman, why did you decide to protest, even though there was a real possibility that you may get arrested?
You know, for me, I felt like it was really important as a member of Congress, as a representative of California, to know that this fight is being fought on people's bodies across this country, and it only felt like the right thing to do to put my own body on the line to fight for this fundamental right.
One of the things I hear a lot from callers on my progressive radio show on SiriusXM, but also I see it in tweets, is folks asking Democrats to do more. Do you think it's important for voters to see their political leaders, their representatives, willing to risk literal arrest in the fight for something like reproductive rights and freedom?
Absolutely. We are at an incredibly urgent moment where fundamental rights that we have had for over 50 years are being stripped away, and we know that this is not the end of what this radical, extreme Supreme Court is trying to do. You know, as a young woman myself, reproductive health care is my health care, and so I feel for all of the people who are looking to us as leaders and are wanting us to show the anger and the urgency that they themselves are feeling about these rights getting taken away.
So one of the things I did observe, and I pointed it out earlier in the show, is that there were only 2 men included in the members of Congress who were at yesterday's protest. Do you know why? I saw Representative Jason Crow and also Andy Levin, who was among those arrested, but that's it.
You know, look, I think it's important for everyone to understand that this decision impacts all of us, not only women, not only people who are of reproductive age right now. I also think that it's an important moment for people to understand what allyship really means, and that it is important to show up and to put your body on the line when you have privilege and other people's don't. But I can tell you, look, as my 2 younger siblings are LGBTQ+, my middle sibling is gender nonconforming, and my youngest sibling is trans. And we've had many conversations where at first I was uncomfortable telling their stories because I thought it was them who should be telling them. And they sat me down and they said, no, actually, we want you to do it so that we don't have to explain ourselves and explain our existence in every room we go in. And so I think this is a moment where we need to understand that allyship does mean stepping up, does mean showing up, and does mean coming out in solidarity, because this does affect all of us.
I want to turn to the topic of the digital surveillance threat that a lot of folks are talking about in this post-Roe world that we're just starting to understand. And you introduced a piece of legislation. It's called the My Body, My Data Act. Tell us what it is, what it would do, and why you think it's important.
So the My Body, My Data Act creates a national standard on how companies can use your reproductive and sexual health data that you put in like a period tracking app, in website searches, any websites. And what it does is it says that these companies can only collect and retain what they strictly need to provide the service, that you can ask for your information to be deleted at any time, that they cannot sell it to anybody, and they can only share it with your express written consent. And if you feel like your data is being misused, you can privately sue the company in civil court. And that's important because we've already seen this data be used against people. We know in states where abortion is currently being criminalized, and we know that there are more states to come, that this data could be used against people who are seeking abortion in other states, who are helping to provide abortions to people. I have a real concern in states like Texas, where there's a bounty hunter law that incentivizes private individuals to turn in people, that this data could become really, really dangerous. And so while we're working to codify Roe v. Wade and the right to abortion, we also need to be doing everything we can to protect people in those states right now, and this is an incredibly important component of that protection.
One of the things you did yesterday, other than protest and get arrested in the name of reproductive freedom, is you voted to codify marriage equality, but also birth control is coming up shortly with another vote on that specifically. Why are these votes so important, even if they don't make it through the Senate?
Look, we saw in Justice Thomas's concurrence that this is not a hypothetical anymore. This is something that there are extreme parts of the Republican Party who want to overturn. And so we're not going to wait for it to happen. I think we learned that lesson in Roe, that the things that at one time seemed unthinkable are now here. And we're going to work to protect and codify all of these rights before it even comes to the Supreme Court. And look, I hope that all of these pass with bipartisan support and become law. And if they don't, it will be very clear what the Republican Party's real objective is here, and the American people will see that, and they will remember that in November.
Congresswoman Sara Jacobs of California, thank you so much for joining us today. Please stay safe.
Hi, I'm Zerlina Maxwell. Thanks for checking out our channel on YouTube. You can see more from Zerlina by clicking any of the videos on this screen, and make sure you subscribe below to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. Thanks for watching.